Well, let's now get the thoughts of the government this morning. Lots of stories to talk about. Education Minister Robert Halfon joins me now. A very good morning to you, Robert Halfon. I do want to start with the issue of Suella Braverman. Does the Prime Minister still have full confidence in his Home Secretary?
Look, the Prime Minister's focus is ensuring that the remembrance services go ahead peacefully. That's why he's met with the Metropolitan Police Commissioner. The Metropolitan Police Chief Mark Rowley has assured the Prime Minister that the protests will be peaceful, that the remembrance services will go ahead safely and securely, and that has to be the priority.
But does the Prime Minister still have confidence in Suella Braverman?
I think that's whoever is the minister. That's up to the Prime Minister to decide. But as I say, our focus is working closely with the police
if the
to
Prime
ensure
Minister
that
still has
every step
confidence
necessary is taken to safeguard remembrance services and keep the public safe from disorder this weekend.
So I'm interested that you're not saying that the Prime Minister does have confidence in the Home Secretary. Is that because you don't know or because he doesn't?
What I'm saying is what the government's focus is on, is ensuring that the remembrance services go ahead peacefully. We're trying to focus also on the people's priorities. I'm here today because we've got a huge skills announcement. We're spending £200 million up and down the country, from Cheshire to Essex, to support our colleges, to promote local skills, to promote our new prestigious higher technical qualifications. We're focusing on getting on with the job. The Prime Minister's focused on that, but he's also wants to make sure that the protests go ahead peacefully, but to ensure that the remembrance services go ahead with and they're safe and secure.
And you'll know that the reason I'm asking about the Home Secretary is because she wrote an article in The Times in which she raised her concerns about those protests, but also was critical of the policing of them. And now we're told that Number 10 had suggested some amendments to her article, but that they weren't made. What does that say about Rishi Sunak's authority, that she ignored him?
Well, there is an internal process going on in Downing Street to look at why that article was published. But I think it is important that the primary focus of the Prime Minister and the government is to ensure that we have peaceful remembrance service. It's why he met the police chief, Mark Rowley, and that must be the focus. It's the most important
and that's a
weekend
point.
of the
That is
year.
a point you've made, but I'm really curious to know about what might happen to the Home Secretary, because the ministerial code says that all major interviews and media appearances, both in print and broadcast, should be agreed with the Number 10 press office. So has she broken the ministerial code?
Well, I think, as I say, the Downing Street is looking internally in terms of how that article was published.
So there's some sort of formal investigation going on. What form does this inquiry take at the moment?
Downing Street are looking internally as to how the article was published, but the focus must be to ensure a peaceful remembrance service, and that is the focus of the Prime Minister. It's the focus of the government. The police have said that the protests will be peaceful, that they can safeguard the security of the Remembrance Day, over Remembrance Sunday, and the Armistice Day on Saturday, and that has to be the priority at this time.
Do you think the Home Secretary will be in her job this time next week?
That the Prime Minister decides who his ministers are. That's way above my pay grade. I'm a Minister of State at the Department for Education.
OK. What about the substance of what she wrote about? Do you agree with the Home Secretary? Are the Metropolitan Police biased when it comes to policing protests, like she said?
Look, I've always thought that it's absolutely essential that the operational independence of the police is respected. The Prime Minister is doing everything he can to ensure that remembrance services go ahead successfully and peacefully. And that should be the focus of the government. It's the focus of the police. The police, of course, whilst being operationally independent, will be accountable for what happens on the weekend. And that's absolutely right.
I just want to also ask you a few questions about an investigation that Sky News has done. Sky News' Ashna Hiranag has reported on allegations of sexual misconduct and inappropriate behaviour in drama schools. How concerned are you about those reports?
Well, I thank Sky for that investigation. It's pretty horrific to hear of some of the allegations, and we've set up a adult and child helpline for students. We're working with the Office for Students to strengthen regulatory action in terms of any kind of sexual misconduct, but I think what Sky has done is very welcome, and we'll be watching this very closely.
Well, yes, tell us a little bit more about government plans. Is there likely to be tailored regulation for these institutions, or
Oh,
sexual misconduct guidance for higher education settings? What's the idea?
So the universities are independent and autonomous, but however, they do have a regulator, the Office for Students, and the Office for Students is already consulting on a regulatory action in terms of sexual misconduct, and that is right, and that consultation is ongoing. I'm absolutely clear that any sexual misconduct in adults in any school, college, or university is unacceptable. We've set up a helpline for children and adults. We've already made clear that non-disclosure agreements in terms of sexual misconduct are unacceptable, but we'll look very closely at what emerges with the drama schools and the Sky investigation, and we've made it absolutely clear that universities must be responsible for all schools and colleges, or the drama school, which has been the focus at this time, to ensure that this kind of thing never takes place. And those who, if these allegations are founded, those who are the perpetrators will be held responsible.
Robert Halfon, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much.